that one had a very huge gate, and obviously the Germans had ammunition, guns and other things stored there. This was Liberation Day. We knew that a British destroyer was anchored somewhere in St. Owen's Bay, and a German launch was about to go out with the chief man in Jersey to sign a surrender for the island, but we were still not yet free. And in front of this iron gate, there were two soldiers with rifles, because silly hoodlums might have tried to break in and performed acts of pseudo-bravery, which they hadn't performed during the occupation, but it would be safer to do it now. You know the kind of twit. I'm sure you've got some at Victoria College. And we had bicycles, all of us, with hosepipe tires, because the real tires had worn out. And if you had a hosepipe tire, they had to be stretched. They really needed a machine to do it, and secured with an iron clasp. And if that iron hook snapped, it did so with a noise like a revolver shot. It had happened to me once in the town. Just as I passed that tunnel with the two soldiers with the rifles, my hosepipe tire snapped, and I can still see two people who flung themselves to the ground thinking it was a shot, and these soldiers came around with their rifles. And as thoughts flash through your mind at a moment like that, I thought, God, how ridiculous. If I was to die now, when we're to be liberated within the hour. But fortunately, the young soldier, who looked about 19, saw this hosepipe tire, which I held up, and he grinned. And other thoughts began. The two people who flung themselves to the ground saw it wasn't a revolver shot. They stood up and went away. The four people I was with looked around. They just saw it was my hosepipe tire that had gone off. They gave a wave. They were not bothered anymore. They wanted the best possible places on the end of the pier. They did keep a good one for me, but I would have to walk. You can't ride a bicycle with an iron tire. It would go oblong. And this young soldier, when he saw my plight, he grinned. And racing through my thought was, my God, you are very young. From your primary school age, you have been brainwashed into worshipping the Fuhrer. You have even been instructed to listen to conversations by your parents and to report them if they didn't show praise for the Fuhrer. You have been brainwashed throughout your education. You don't know if your family is still alive. You have not had contact with them for months. You don't know if your home still exists. All you do know is that you're about to become a prisoner of war, and for a long time. You are hungry. You've not been getting Red Cross parcels. We have. But you have it in your capacity to grin. And I felt I wanted to go over and just take his hand. But I felt I couldn't. He was still the enemy, and I regret now that I didn't. I wasn't big enough. I think I was already aware that we couldn't go on hating Germans forever and ever, and that really they were rather like us, and they were victims, as we were, of a collective madness.